welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. And hello again, people. Hello and welcome to Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday. And that means, as we all know, that we're only one day away from our favourite day of the week. The standard working week, that is, obviously. Yes, Friday is approaching and it's getting closer and closer with every second which passes. Yes, we still can't see it yet. But I reckon most of the dogs we know, with their sensitive noses, I reckon they can probably smell Friday's approach. So, are you all ready to get stuck into today's lesson? I bet you all are, aren't you? And do you all know what today's lesson is about? I bet you can all guess, can't you? Yes, think back. Think back to the day before yesterday. What were we talking about? Yes, of course, that's right. We were talking about using the present perfect to talk about life experience, things which we have done in our lives to date until now. All right, now, what was it that we saw last time? Yes, that's right. We looked at a couple of questions, didn't we? And we noted that although there's normally very little real distinction between the categories where we use the present perfect, the lines between the different categories are normally blurred, but in some cases, the lines are more distinct. If we're asking questions about someone's life experience, then we use the word ever, meaning at any time, to emphasize, to stress, to underline, to highlight that this question doesn't relate to something which happened in the past and which is relevant now. No. The fact that we ask a question using ever means that we're showing that now, in this instance, in this example, we're asking about someone's life experience. And the same is true when we give a negative answer to a question about life experience to date. We use never, which is the opposite of ever, to emphasize that once again, this time we're talking about life experience, not about some state or event in the past which is connected to now. Just as we asked whether Johnny Halliday's mum had ever been to Japan, and just as we asked whether someone had ever eaten snails, the ever shows us that we're talking about life experience. Okay, now today we're going to have a look at some music, which is a good example of the category of present perfect. All right, rock and roll, here we go. Well, no, sorry. This isn't particularly rock and roll at all. Sorry. If we've got time tomorrow, we might have another try with some more music. Something a bit less, well, cheesy. Actually, do you all know that adjective? This adjective cheesy. It's got more than one meaning. The first meaning, the standard meaning, is quite obviously connected to cheese. Cheesy means that something is like cheese. Maybe it smells like cheese. Maybe it tastes like cheese. But there's a connection to cheese. Okay. That's the standard meaning of the adjective, but we're not talking about the standard meaning of the adjective cheesy. We're talking about, we're talking about the more, informal meaning. This is the meaning we use when we're talking about something which is unoriginal, overused, and obviously sentimental. So, for me, in my opinion, a lot of pop music from the 1970s is cheesy. It's unoriginal, it's too sentimental, it's just cheesy. So, prepare yourselves. This song, which has very good examples of the present perfect used to talk about life experience, it's not the sort of song you'd normally want to listen to. No, never. This isn't the sort of song you'd want as a ringtone. And believe me, I like cheesy music more than most people, but even for me, this is just horrid. Anyway, never mind all that. I'm sure we can handle a bit of cheese. It's all in a good cause after all. So, here's the woman who sang the song. Prepare yourselves. All right, This song was actually originally released in 1976, I think, but this is a picture from 1982, I think. That's when the song was a big hit. Yes, there was a lot of cheese in the 1980s too. Cheese is something we can find in most decades, but that's something we can come back to later on. Let's deal with the song, okay?
Hey lady, you lady, cursing at your life. You're a discontented mother and a regimented wife. I've no doubt you dream about the things you'll never do, but I wish someone had to talk to me like I want to talk to you.
All right, well, not all right really, is it? No, that's pretty disturbing, isn't it? Yes, well, let's try and move on, shall we?
Ooh, I've been to Georgia and California and anywhere I could run. Took the hand of a preacher man and we made love in the sun. But I ran out of places and friendly faces because I had to be free. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me.
Okay, so try to ignore the video and let's just concentrate on the lyrics, the words of the song. Okay, so listen to what she's saying. She's talking to another woman. She's telling this other woman what she's done in her life. She's essentially giving this woman advice. She's using her own life as an example. So, as we heard, this woman she's talking to is a discontented mother and a regimented wife. Okay? Not very positive, is it? No. If you're content, then you're happy. You're at peace with things. You've got enough and you're happy with what you've got. If we add the prefix dis to a word, however, then we create a negative idea. Disagree, which means to not agree. Disbelieve, which means to not believe. Okay, now there are other meanings to the prefix dis, but here, this idea of a negative is what we want. If we add dis to the front of content, we get the opposite idea. If you're discontent, then that means that you're not happy with what you've got. You're not satisfied. You're not happy. So when we hear that this woman is a discontented mother, then we know that she's got a kid, or more than one perhaps, but she's unsure about the decisions she made to become a mother, that's all. She's got kids, and now she can't do the same things that she used to. She's got kids, she's got responsibilities. She can't just buy a ticket and go on holiday, for example. All right, she's a discontented, that is unhappy, unsatisfied mother. But at the same time, she's a regimented wife. Well, now, what's that all about then? Well, what does regiment mean? What's a regiment when it's at home? A regiment is a large group of soldiers. Normally a regiment is between 1,000 and 2,000 soldiers, but that's not important. No, the idea of regimented that we need to focus on is the idea that it's connected to the military. And what does that tell us? Exactly. That tells us that there is a very strong hierarchical system of control. So, if I were to tell you that my family was a regimented family, or if I were to tell you that the people in the TV studio are very strictly regimented, then you would understand from the connection to the idea of the army, the idea of a hierarchy, the idea of control, that my family is very strictly controlled. There is one head of the family and everyone obeys the head, just like in the army. If the general tells you to jump, you jump. The only question you're allowed to ask is, how high? When I tell you that people in the TV studio are strictly regimented, you know that nobody does anything without permission from the boss. Everyone waits to be given permission. Everyone waits to be told what to do. Everyone's behavior is regulated by the boss. So, back to the woman. She's a regimented wife. This tells us that her husband controls her. He is the person who decides, not her. He's the head honcho. not her. He's the boss. He tells her what to do. She is controlled by him. She's a regimented wife. Okay, so we understand why she's not very happy. She doesn't know if she made the right choices in life, getting married to a man with a controlling personality and having kids. Okay, but that's all irrelevant as far as we're concerned. That's just the introduction to the song. Okay, now let's concentrate on what the singer is singing about. The singer is presenting her life as an example for the other woman to see what could happen if she chose to just leave the kids at home, leave a note for her husband and buy a ticket to somewhere groovy. All right, present perfect. Talking about two places that she's been to in her life, Georgia and California. Okay, nothing too special, but what about the next line? And anywhere I could run. Well, that's not too positive, is it? I think we can sense the negative aspect, can't you? Normally, if we're running from something, then it's not very positive. All right, if we're running away from Keith, Mad Dog Pheasant, in the park, then that's positive. We don't want our faces scarred by Keith's beak, do we? No, we don't. Just ask Rupert what's that like. Okay, so it's not very positive. She's going anywhere. She's not picking places she'd like to visit. No, she's just running about the place like a headless chicken. Action without thought. Okay, what's next? Blimey! Let yourself go. Whew. So this woman is out there looking for adventure. All right, let's move on. This is a family show after all. I'll just make one comment. Obviously, this preacher man wasn't a Catholic. All right, now what? Now we get to hear what the problem was. So, it's not positive, is it? No. To run out of something means that something is used up. If we run out of something, then that means that there isn't any left. If we run out of petrol, the car won't move. If we run out of beer, the party will stop. If we run out of money, we'll starve. So, normally we use the idea of to run out of something as a negative idea, and here it's the same thing. This woman ran out of places. There was nowhere left for her to go. And that's not all. She also ran out of friendly faces. So that means that she lost all of her friends and there was nobody nice in her life. Not very positive, is it? No. And then, well, now we get the weird bit. I've been to paradise. Fine. Present perfect to talk about life experience. Great. But what about the next line? But I've never been to me. What? Eh? Who? When? What have you been drinking? You've never been to me. What? You've never been to you? Eh? I'm confused. How do you explain yourself? All right, now, here, what we have to remember is that most songs are written with the idea that they should rhyme. Regular words at the end of every second line, for example, should have the same sound. They should rhyme. It makes it easier on the ear. It makes it easier for us to understand and sing along. That's all. Sometimes singers, songwriters, musicians, sometimes they make huge mistakes, but they do this to make the songs better. They're not interested in correct language.
We'll live each day in peace, in hope that we will one day reach the rest of the world when they are ready to be teached.
Yes, you heard correctly. Teached. Lenny took an irregular verb and turned it into a regular verb, all to make the line rhyme. Horrible mistake. And on that note, on that horrible mistake, it's time for us to part. Yes, I know, we didn't manage to get all the way through the song. And you all know what that means, don't you? Yes, that's right. That means that we're going to finish this slice of 1980s cheese tomorrow. All right, people, it's time for us to turn everything off and head off home. I'm going home to have a coffee. And well, as for you lot, there's the cat, the dog, the parrot, and the chores. Things to feed, things to walk, things to talk to, and things to do. Turn the music on and get stuck into what you've got to get stuck into. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place, but tomorrow, obviously. And don't forget, What day is it going to be tomorrow? Yes, that's right. It's not going to be Tuesday, is it? No, it's not. Well, not unless the calendar's broken. See you tomorrow, people. See you later. www.mediaclick.hu. Bye!